What is going on, guys? MMA Island team, we got the fight picks and we got UFC 254 pretty high up on the card, believe it or not. We got Phil Hawes taking on Jacob Malkoun. Really interesting fight. I think both of these guys are coming off of Dana White Contender Series, if I'm not mistaken. No, only Hawes coming off from Dana White Contender Series actually last month. So Malkoun 4-0 and now in the UFC. Pass it on to Zach to start us off.
Philip Hawes, when he fought in the Contender Series, he impressed the hell out of me by just sending Kazimierz Bestayev to hell. What an amazing knockout that was. And that is the bread and butter to Philip Hawes' game, is his power. He is an absolute finisher, but what I really like about Hawes is where he trains. You look at his gym, and there he is at Sanford MMA. MMA's forgotten super camp. Well, it's not really forgotten. It's just not that many people talk about it when some of the best fighters in the world train there. You have Gilbert Burns, you have Michael Chandler, you have Ong Lan Song, and you have Robbie Lawler, you have Rumble Johnson. You have just a ton of these guys that you don't really know about this gym. And Phil Hawes is there training under Henry Hooft. It is a great environment there. Now, Jacob Malkoun is very inexperienced, only coming in at 4-0. It's very rare you see the UFC sign these guys with not a lot of experience. And when they do, it means that they see a lot of potential in them. The last guy I can think of like that was Ciryl Gane, and Ciryl Gane is my absolute favorite hype train, and will never get derailed. I'll favor him over JDS, favor him almost anyone, but we're not talking about Ciryl Gane. We're talking about Jacob Malkoun. Now, in his time in MMA, he has fought in the Australian regional circuit, and the level of competition that he's fought is not the world's highest. I believe the best record that he's fought is someone who is 9-5. And that tells you that, he's not really fought against fighters the caliber of Philip Hawes before. Now, what I saw from Malkoun is kind of impressive. I do like the way he strikes. I do like the way he just approaches fight on the feet, but I believe the power of Philip Hawes is going to be a difference maker. And he's one of those guys that has technique to go with his power as well. I really don't like fighters like Maki Pitolo and just those type of fighters who kind of rely on their power just for everything. So they don't need technique. The only fighter who can do that is Francis Ngannou. And you can only make that work if you have Ngannou power. Hawes has technique. And I think that's what's going to get him the win for this fight. I believe that he's going to win most of the striking exchanges. I do not see this fight going onto the ground, but if it does, I give the advantage to Hawes. So, yeah, I'm going to go Hawes. I think he's going to knock him out. I think he has the better power, the better striking technique, and he may even threaten to mix up a takedown here and there. You never know. So, and also the inexperience of Malkoun is also leading me and influencing me to pick Phil Hawes.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to agree with you on this one as well. Couple reasons, man. I think the main thing that you have to look at is the level of competition. Going from beating a guy and going the distance with a guy who's 3-2 and then facing Phil Hawes 8-2 fights he has had us always never reached the judges in 10 fights, never reached the judges before. Can you say that Malkoun 4-0 coming off of knockout wins over guys that aren't really the greatest of competition? Can he come in and knock out Phil Hawes? Sure he can. But I don't see that happening. I don't think it's likely at all. I think Phil Hawes is just going to kind of I actually think he's just going to knock him out. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to piece him up to a decision for sure, because I think he's going to be able to finish it. I think him being such a fast finisher, we've seen him in the first round in his last two fights, or I guess first round in the last four fights, because he had the submission win as well in Brave, and then in Bellator had a doctor stoppage at the end of the first. And then looking at Julian Marquez, the only person to knock out Phil Hawes. But people forgot about Julian Marquez because the dude hasn't fought since the Ultimate Fighter 27 finale against Alessio Di Carico, who we've seen it recently. And Julian Marquez, just to talk about MMA math for a second, has wins over Darren Stewart, Matt Hamill, who beat John Jones. So, hey, if you're beating the guy who beat the guy who beat John Jones, so I'm just saying, but you never know. So just to talk about that point, main point actually is that Phil Hawes is going to be able to knock him out, in my opinion. I think that the inexperience of Malkoun is going to play a factor. I think Phil Hawes coming off of a really spectacular first round KO against a really good opponent. 10-4 was best I have. And then he was on a 2-fight winning streak as well. So I think it's pretty likely that Hawes is able to go out here and knock him out. I tend to hold the undefeated fighters in pretty high regard, but when you're 4-0, you have a pretty high chance, not a pretty high chance, I shouldn't say, but like you have a pretty good chance of losing and then having that fight. Because if you go from 4-0 to 4-1, you go from an undeterminable win-loss ratio to a 4 win-loss ratio. So it's not that crazy of a record being 4-0. So I will be leaning towards Phil Hawes in this one. I think he's beat better opponents than this guy is and has beat as well. And I think that he's not on the level of the people that Phil Hawes has beat. I don't think he has a submission style to be able to compete with that. And look at Luis Taylor is the only one to defeat him via submission as well. I don't think Hawes is able to finish him. I don't think he's able to win via decision. I think this fight does not go the distance. We're talking about those parlay builders. This is a great parlay fill-in. Is Phil Hawes by KO. Very, very good parlay throw in. So make sure you guys are just letting us know what you guys think. We got a unanimous here. Phil Hawes to win by KO is what both of us say. So make sure you guys are just letting us know in the comments what you guys got, who you got to buy. Get in depth. I like the description. I like the in depth and the reasoning. So yeah, point is, man, just let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and make sure you guys also check out the other Fight Pick videos.